Alright, so I bought this Blu-ray DVD of M.A.S.H. It was like $4.99. I recommend buying it, just the Blu-ray. It looks great and all that stuff. So this is what started it all, a book by Richard Hooker, or his real name, Heister Richard Hornberger, Jr. He wrote this book called M.A.S.H., a novel about three Army doctors. It came out in 1968 in collaboration with W.C. Heinz. Richard Hooker was born in 1924 and he died in 1997 at the age of 73. He really didn't do much other writing besides this. So M.A.S.H. came out in 1970. It cost 3 point something million dollars. It made $81 million in the box office. It was nominated for a whole bunch of awards, including Best Picture, which it lost to Patton. And if you're going to lose to a movie, why not Patton? Great movie. So it was written by Rene Auberjonois Jr., who was blacklisted back in the day, and he went under a whole bunch of pseudonyms after, before and after. The cinematography was by Harold E. Stein, and he did The Poseidon Adventure and The Incredible Mr. Limpet. See those movies, they're really fun. And it was edited by Danford B. Green, who did Blazing Saddles. Now, the movie was directed by Robert Altman. He was born in 1925. He died in 2006 at the age of 81. Robert, as a young man, flew in World War II. He flew more than 50 missions as a co-pilot in a B-24 in the 307th Bomb Group in the Borneos and the Dutch West Indies. He's directed many, many films that a lot of people may know, like The Long Goodbye, Nashville, Three Women, Gosford Park. Gosford Park was his last movie before he passed away. And I want to say here, the best fights, the most realistic fights in any movie seems to be this movie. They're not huge fights, but they're the most realistic. This is how most fights look. They're sloppy, people can't fight well. And then it goes right into this opening, or it's not really an opening shot, but it goes into this shot that's just so great. I mean, I love this. They're driving to the camp. This shot blows me away every time I see it. Love that helicopter shot. So first we're going to start off with characters that were in the movie and not incorporated into the TV show. And we'll start out with Tom Skerritt, who played Captain Augustus Bedford Duke Forrest. And, his career he's been around for a long time. He served in the Air Force from 1951 to 1955. But you might know him best for ALIAN and Top Gun, and he's still doing really well. He's 87 years old. He was born in 1933. Keep on going, Tom Skerritt. And then we have Joanne Flug, and she was Lieutenant Dish in the M.A.S.H. movie. She didn't do a real lot of stuff after M.A.S.H. or, not a really big career. She married Chuck Woolery, and that lasted for like 2 and 2 seconds from 72 to 1980. But she's still around. She was born in 1940, and she's 81 years old at this moment. And then we got John Schulk as Captain Walter the Painless Poe Waldowski, DDS. Now, he was in Macmillan and Wife for a very long period of time. He's been in a whole bunch of stuff, Star Trek, you name it. And he quite possibly is in the worst TV show ever made, Holmes and Yo-Yo. It was, this is a really bad, it's like trying to be RoboCop with a sense of humor. Before RoboCop, of course. It only lasted like 13 episodes or something like that. If you got a chance, try to see something like that. It quite possibly might have been the worst TV show ever on TV. But anyway, he's still around. He was born in 1940. He's 81 years old right now, so keep on going, John. So those were some of the main characters that weren't incorporated into the TV show that were in the movie. Now we're going to get into the people that were in the movie and then incorporated into the cast of the TV show, starting out with Donald Sutherland as Hawkeye Pierce. And what can you say about him? I mean, his resume is so big. He's in one of the best remakes of a movie ever. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, great remake. He's in Animal House. He's in Kelly's Heroes. You could go on and on and on about this guy's career. I mean, it's just stunning. And he's still doing well. He's 86 years old. He was born in 1935, and there he is with Jennifer Lawrence. And I think we'll be seeing him in movies for a long time to come still. So playing that same character in the TV show, of course, was Alan Alda as Hawkeye Pierce. And Alan Alda's father was even on the show. He was in 2 episodes as Dr. Anthony Borelli. So Alan Alda's still doing stuff. And I love him in Canadian Bacon. He's got some great lines in Canadian Bacon. Check it out. It's not a great movie, but it's got some funny moments. And Alan Alda was even in ROTC in 1956. He was in Korea as a gunnery officer for 6 months. He's still going strong. He was born in 1936. He's now 85, and I think we'll still see him in a whole bunch of stuff. He's still working. And then we got Elliot Gould in the movie. He played Trapper John, and he's had an amazing career. He's on Friends, or he was on Friends. He was in the Ocean's 11, 12 movies, Saturday Night Live, a ton of movies. He was married to Barbara Streisand from 1963 to 1971. And he's still doing work. He's still working. He was born in 1938. He's 82. And again, another actor that we see still working. And in the TV show was Wayne Rogers playing Trapper John. He was on for 3 seasons from 72 to 75, and that's 72 episodes. He left because he didn't want to be second fiddle to Alan Alda anymore. He felt Alan Alda was getting all the good lines, so he left. Now, before M.A.S.H, he had a great career. He was in A Cool Hand Luke, and, he still did a few things after M.A.S.H, but he did not do the spin-off series Trapper John M.D. He had this relationship with Melinda Naud, who I had a big crush on as a child. She was in this really bad TV show called Operation Petticoat, 33 episodes with John Astin and Jim Varney. And Wayne Rogers died December 31st, 2015. And oddly enough, William Christopher, who was Fowler Mulcahy, he died December 31st, December 2016 at 84. Now back to the movie cast again. We got Sally Kellerman, who plays Hot Lips Houlihan in this movie, and I gotta say, she's got some of the funniest parts of this movie. There's a point of this movie where it turns into a football movie, and a really, really great football movie. The hits look real. It's a lot of fun. Radar's doing all kinds of mischief. Anyway, here's some best moments, what I think, of Sally Kellerman in this movie.
You blithering idiot.
My God, they shot him!
Hot Lips, you incredible nincompoop. It's the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I just love those moments, those Sally Kellerman moments. I think they're brilliant. I think she's a great actress. She's been in so many TV shows, it's unbelievable. But Back to School, she's funny as hell. That's a great movie. Check that out. And she's in one of the best Star Trek episodes of all time, of all the series, Where No Man Has Gone Before, the episode Star Trek from the original series. It's just such a great episode. It's great sci-fi. Even if you hate sci-fi, you'd probably like that episode. Now, I haven't seen Sally Kellerman in anything else since 2016. She's still around. She was born in 1937, and she's 84 years old. And then playing the role in the TV show was Loretta Swit. I always want to say Swift, but it's Swit. And she was born in November 1937. She's 83 years old. She hasn't been doing a real lot since then. She's done a lot of TV work in the past. But now, the last thing I saw for her was like 2019. But before this and after M.A.S.H, she did a lot of TV. If you look at her credits, it's huge. And she was on the show the whole time. And playing Fowler Mulcahy in the movie was Rene Auberjonois. I'm going to put that in writing down there. But he has one of the best lines, if not the best line in M.A.S.H there is. Let's hear that, or see that.
I wonder how a degenerated person like that could have reached a position of responsibility in the Army Medical Corps.
He was drafted.
Yeah, I love that line. It's great. One-liner. Great. So he was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine for a really, really long time. He was on Boston Legal for a long time. He was on all kinds of TV shows back in the day, and he was in an episode of Baba Black Sheep. Anyway, he was born in 1940. He died in December 2019 at the age of 79. Now, for the TV show, Father McCahey in the pilot episode was played by another actor that was not William Christopher. It was George Morgan. He's in the pilot, and he doesn't even have a line. He was replaced for whatever reason CBS decided to replace him with. Apparently, he still lives in like Martha's Vineyard or something, but otherwise not much of a career after that. So then it did go eventually to William Christopher, who did that role, not as a regular for the first. It wasn't until like the fourth or fifth season that he did become officially a regular cast member. Now, William Christopher had a great career before this. He was on Andy Griffith's show, Patty Duke's show. He was in a ton of stuff. And then he went on to do even after M.A.S.H. there for a while. So William Christopher, like I said before, he died December 31st, 2016 at 84. Now, Frank Burns in the movie is played by Robert Duvall. And what can you say about this cast of this movie? I mean, it's unbelievable. What can you say about Robert Duvall? His performance in this movie is outstanding. I mean, look at this guy's career. I'm just going to go through a little bit of it. Everybody knows who Robert Duvall is, but The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Lonesome Dove, just to name a few offhand. Now, Robert Duvall, he's still working. He's still got movies coming out now. He was born January 1931. He's 90 years old, still working strong in the industry. Amazing actor. And playing Frank Burns in the TV show was Larry Linville, who was on the show for seasons 1 through 5. He left the show because he felt that the character has gone its course. He didn't like where it was going. I also read where he thought he were making fun of somebody who had mental problems. So whichever it is, he left early. Didn't do much after that.
If there's anything I can tell him.
Anyway, I loved his character. He was a great rat. I loved it when Alan Alda called him Ferret Face. He died at a very young age of 60 years old. He was born in September 1939. Great actor. One of the best characters ever on television, in my opinion. So in the movie, Roger Bowman plays Henry Blake. And his career after that, he was in What About Bob? Not a real lot of movies. Funny guy in the movie, great in the movie. And then the weird thing is, he died February 16th, 1996 at the age of 63. And McLean Stevenson died in February 15th, 1996 at the age of 68. And as I said, McLean Stevenson played the role. He stayed for 70 episodes or 3 seasons. He left because he didn't want to be second fiddle. So he went and did some other shows that didn't last very long, like Hello Larry, 38 episodes, Dirty Dancing TV show, 11 episodes, the McLean Stevenson show, 12 episodes. So everybody said, why did he leave? He did a whole bunch of little things, match game shows, all that kind of stuff. And here he is with Raquel Welch. So we're going to go right to the one actor that was in both the movie and the TV show. And that's Radar, Gary Berghoff. He played that role until 8 seasons, and then he left. He just wanted to leave. He didn't want to stay anymore, and he just wanted to do family stuff. He ended up making some inventions for fishing tackle and some kind of handle for toilet seats. And, all to him. I mean, he just didn't want to act anymore. He had a deformity in his hand that he kept hidden from the viewers all the time. You wouldn't even really notice it. You'd have to stop it, just like I'm doing here, to see that. And I enjoyed him the first 4 seasons when he drank, and then when he started drinking Fanta. Not a big fan of that. I liked it when he was in on the stuff instead of trying to make him into this wholesome, sweet kid. Anyway, Gary Berghoff, he's still around and kicking. He was born in 1943, and his age is 78.
We're sure gonna need them.
What was that, sir? I give everything to Radar. What?
So the PA announcer in the movie M.A.S.H. was David Arkin, and he died at a very young age of 49 in 1991. And the TV show had two people doing the PA announcer. Todd Sussman, he was in 47 episodes of M.A.S.H, and Sal Viscaino, and he was in 40 episodes of M.A.S.H. And they also acted in it. You might know Sal Viscaino from Spaceballs and Todd Sussman. All these guys have been in a lot of stuff all these years. And Ted Knight has a voice in the movie M.A.S.H, uncredited, off camera. Just a little note. So just a quick note, the music for the movie and a TV show, even though the TV show doesn't have the lyrics, but the lyrics were written by Robert Altman's son. So his son made more money on the picture than his father. He wanted some lyrics that were so stupid that only a kid could write, and that's what he did. He wrote them. So now we're going into the characters that weren't in the movie. They were brought into the show just as extra characters. And a little bit about the show. The show was filmed on 35 millimeter. It's been widely distributed to TV shows over the years, or television stations over the years, in 16 millimeter, transferred, all kinds of weird stuff. And then in England, the people did not hear a laugh track. In the United States, they heard a laugh track. They did not want a laugh track on the show. Larry Gilbert and all the producers of the show, there's been a lot of them. But they didn't want a laugh track, but the network did want a laugh track, so they negotiated it down to where when they were in operating room, you wouldn't hear any laughs. So sometimes when you watch the reruns of it, you'll hear a laugh track, and sometimes you won't. So, you know, it's different all over the place. So we're going to start off with Klinger and Jamie Farr. And, you know, he's funny on that show. And he wasn't a regular for the first 4 seasons. Later on, he became a regular. At least they credited him as a regular. After M.A.S.H, he went and did like The Gong Show, which was one of my favorite shows of all time. I love The Gong Show. He did After M.A.S.H, and he's still around. Jamie Foxx was born in 1934, and he's the age of 87. So here's the crew that was pretty much from 4 to the final of the series, and they were there to the end. And then Harry Morgan came in, and he played first before he became Colonel Potter. He was in an episode where he was General Bartfield Hamilton Steele, the general that flipped at dawn, which is a really, really funny episode. But Harry Morgan, I mean, he's been around for forever and ever. He was in Dragnet. He was in Support Your Local Sheriff, a ton of Westerns. He was in After M.A.S.H, that lasted for 3 seasons from 1983 to 85, by the way. He was born on April 10th, 1915, and he died in December 2011 at the age of 96. Then we got David Allen Steers, and he played Major Charles Emerson Winchester III. And he came on later on in the show, and he stayed to the end. This guy, you know, his character was a jerk, but not a complete jerk, but a jerk. His first movie was THX 1138 as an announcer voice. You didn't see him. He's done a ton of Perry Mason TV movies. He's done the voice of the Penguin for Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. And then he's done TV shows like The Dead Zone, 40 episodes. He worked a long time, all the way pretty much to his death. And speaking of which, he was born October 31st, 1942, and he died March 3rd, 2018 at the age of 75. Then we got Mike Farrell, who replaced Wayne Rogers in a leading role, pretty much, or, you know, co-starring role. And he was on it from then to the very end. He's been in a whole bunch of other stuff, too. Like he was in The $6 Million Man a long time ago. He was the voice of Jonathan Kent in the Superman, The Last Son of Krypton. And he was a producer of Patch Adams, the movie. And he is the husband of Shelley Fabrice. She was from Coach. And Mike Farrell, he's still around. He was born February 1939, and he's at the age of 82. There's a lot of people that had big roles on the show, and they were on a bunch of episodes, like Alan Arbus. He was on 12 episodes, and he played Dr. Sidney Friedman. He died at the age of 95 in 2013. And Jeff Maxwell, he was in 48 episodes. He played Igor. I believe he's still alive. I think he's like 74. Then there was KELLYE NAKAHARA. She was in 169 episodes of M.A.S.H. She was there all the way to the end. She was born in 1948. She died in 2020 at the age of 72. Now, M.A.S.H. was on for a very, very long period of time. And so there was a lot of people who guest starred on the show or were on the show. IMDb has it listed at 693 people were on this show. But one of my favorite people that was on this show was Edward Winter. He was only on 7 episodes, but I think his Colonel Flagg is one of the funniest things about the show. I love those episodes. This guy was on Seinfeld for an episode, the A-Team for an episode, Sharper John MT for 2 episodes, After M.A.S.H. 1 episode, and Soap 5 episodes. Great actor. He was born in 1937. He died in 2001 at age 63, so relatively young, but a really funny guy. So I got just a couple bits from what he did on M.A.S.H., and here it is.
Major Brooks, Lieutenant Carter, Ensign Troy, Captain Louise Klein.
Don't write. Memorize. 1. And don't use Louise. I'll need that next week in Tokyo.